Oh, hi. Back again to talk about more gay stuff. Sort of, actually. This one is gay, but also, I just want to talk about how hard it is to make friends when you get older. It's really hard making friends, guys. Just me? I don't know. It might be. I feel like it's not, though, which is why I want to talk about it. So, as of recently, my girlfriend Sid and I have been very busy. And that is a good thing because I feel like we haven't been this busy ever. And the busyness that we are dealing with currently is because we have plans with friends. That's new for us. Truthfully, I'm gonna say some things in here that might just like completely out myself as a loser with no friends. And that's okay with me because I feel like people can relate, and that's why I want to talk about it. So, where do we even begin? Let me get my sody. Yeah, lately me and Sid have just been very, I don't know, just excited because we just keep looking at each other and being like, oh, we have friends? And we have always had friends, but we feel like we're finally starting to create like a community of people that we hang out with regularly. I would say that we both have a good bit of acquaintances. Oh my god, Hirsch, I just caught a glimpse of him in the screen over here. That is so cute. I love his little back feet like that. Anyways, I feel like we have plenty of acquaintances. And I don't even mean that as a diss. Just people that we aren't hanging out with all the time, but that we know and that if we run into, we obviously would say, hey, that kind of thing. We've both just struggled over the last like year or two, just not having like a close-knit community of friends that we hang out with regularly, singularly and as a couple. And so we've put a lot of effort and emphasis into trying to put ourselves into situations to have friends and to create friends and to create community. Y'all, queer community is like the best. I feel like I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit here, so I'm gonna rewind it back and kind of take it all the way back to little me, little Heather, and how I feel like I've always struggled making friends. But when you're younger, you're in situations where you're surrounded by people that are your age and that are interested in similar things. Yeah, it just is a lot easier when you're young. So when you're older, you have to make a lot more of an effort to actually put yourself in the situations to be surrounded by people who like the things that you like. Yeah, growing up, I feel like I was always pretty shy and reserved. I feel like my parents have told me before that they were like a little nervous as I got older because I was just so shy, and that as I did get older, I guess maybe they were a little bit more relieved, thinking like, oh my god, like she's like painfully shy. But then as I started to come out of my shell more, I think that they were like, oh, whew. But I just have always been very reserved and like never wanted to be center of attention that I can think of. Like I played sports and that's kind of what I was into. I would say most of my friendships in my youth stemmed from playing basketball and having teammates that I was friends with and then just kind of going from there. So as you get older and you're not in those environments anymore, you're going to college, then you graduate and you get a job, yada yada. You're not, especially when you graduate college, you just aren't really in those positions anymore. So I just had some built-in friends. I had some built-in friends. Why is that feeling so weird to say now? But I will say, and not to get sad, this is going to sound sad, but it just is what it is, and I'm okay with it at this stage of my life. When I look back, and a little bit into current day, maybe not as much now, but like still kind of a prevalent thing, I have never felt like someone that people I was around or like friends with wanted to make sure I was there for hangouts. Does that make sense? You know how there's just like, you have funny people in your life and you're like, oh, I love that person. We have to make sure we invite this person and this person, blah, blah, blah. I've just always, and I think that this is probably on me and not a reflection of those around me. It's just an insecurity, I think, and maybe feeling insecure because I never felt like I had a solid group. Once I got out of high school, like high school, I was like fine and not as concerned with that. But like after high school into college, when I met my ex-husband, I just kind of got sucked in to that friend group, and I didn't do a very good job of creating friends of my own. I just kind of became part of that group. So then I just found myself like, that's my friends. I didn't really make any friends outside of that. That's on me. I just feel like I've always been kind of bad at making friends, which means I've never had, or not never, outside of high school, I haven't had like super close friends outside of the people that I've dated. So suddenly I'm friends with all of my ex-husband, or all of my then husband's friends. We get a divorce. All those people say sayonara. Actually, no, they didn't even say sayonara. They said nothing. I just like lost all my friends basically overnight. Like minus a handful and like people that I knew in high school and stuff. But like the people that I was like present day hanging out with, as soon as we got a divorce, I just had nobody, like literally. So that was a weird feeling, and that was a wake-up call a little bit of, hey, you should probably try to figure out making like your own friends and not just rely on a partner and a partner's friends. But in my defense, and this is obviously different for everyone, I have never worked a corporate job, ever. And once you graduate school, the setting where you're surrounded by people your age, once you graduate that, a lot of people continue that trajectory of being surrounded by people their age by going into corporate America and making friends there. I did not do that, and I never have. So I've never had that like environment to continue making friends with people that I'm around all the time, because I did a lot of like freelance work, or I would work directly for like an owner of businesses, and I would just like work directly for them. So I just didn't find myself surrounded by people. So that didn't really help my case. And my husband at the time did work corporate America, and he was really good at making friends and always was making new friends, I felt like. And so it never felt, until we divorced, it never felt like, oh, I don't have any friends. Like I didn't have any that I was like super connected to. Like most of my friends back then were guys too, which I find really interesting. Also, this is like so stream of consciousness. I have a few notes over here, but like besides that, not really. So sorry about that. It's just like a little bit of a brain dump, but I feel like people have to be able to relate on like community is really hard. Yeah, got a divorce, lost all my friends. So that's my backstory. Let's bring this to current day now. I would say a year or two ago, Sid and I were really talking about how like we didn't have a solid like group of people that we were hanging out with like regularly. We felt very disconnected in that way, not to each other, but just to a larger community. And so that just became a really big topic of conversation to us, is just like feeling that missing piece in our relationship, like our relationship being solid, but then there's this other portion that just like doesn't feel like we have a solid community to be a part of outside of the queer community. Queer community is amazing, by the way. We just weren't doing a very good job of like making close friendships. Once again, plenty of acquaintances, plenty of people that we would like go out with, but not like a solid group of people, which is something that we craved. Fast forward to current day, and we are like finding ourselves surrounded by people that we're going out with more often and like becoming closer to, and damn, does that feel good. So because of everything that I've said in terms of, you know, friendships being hard, I figured let me just throw out some of the things that we've done or that I've done that have helped create community and friendships. So a big one is just going to your local queer events. This is going to be a little bit focused on the queer community, so if you're straight and watching this, you're probably gay, but also you can take this with like the straight community. If you, like me at one point in time, are looking for a queer community, here are a few things that you can look for queer events in your area that happen regularly. Okay? Queer events, all great, but if you can find some that happen weekly or monthly or whatever, that would be the same people, like potentially going, highly recommend. So, something like GSA. If you have a local GSA in your area, go to it. It's great. The two people that run ours, I just so happen to now be pretty good friends with, which is so great. And we play kickball together. More on that in a little bit. But just go to those events regularly because you will start to see the same faces. And I do feel like if you're someone like me who's a little bit awkward when it comes to like creating conversation with someone that you don't really know, I feel like I'm not very good at that. Eventually, when you're around each other multiple times, I feel like that just kind of breaks the ice when you're eventually just like, okay, we've been in the same room like 5 times now. Like, maybe we should chat. So going to that kind of an event, the GSA in Nashville happens monthly, I believe. And it's great, and they do fun little events, and it's just really lovely. Some other things that happen in Nashville, just different music events that happen, like writers' rounds and stuff. Those are opportunities to meet people. I used to go to one of those like every single week. I met a lot of people that I know now through that, or met a lot of people that I then went on to meet people, like, you know what I mean? So like that's another great one. Like things like that, like find the little regularly occurring events in your area and just start going to them. You know, like it works. It worked. Another interesting one is dating sites that have like the friend version, like Bumble BFF. I did make a couple pretty good friends off of Bumble BFF, surprisingly. I had low expectations with that one. I would say those are the main things that we have done. Sid is a musician, and so she has co-writes with people. So that has really, I feel like, worked in our favor and her favor in terms of getting to know people. Because when you write, you're going deep, you know what I mean? Like, you're talking about real shit. You're talking about life shit. So I would say at least a little handful of people that we hang out with regularly are people that she writes with. And so obviously that one's a little bit specific. But that has been a way that we have made friends. Well, I've just gotten to reap the benefits of that. But that's a way that Sid has made friends. And then I've gotten to just like tag along. One thing I will say that I'm learning now, because current day Heather, very excited about what community looks like for me and like what it will continue to. But a year ago me, pretty bummed about it, pretty sad about it, felt pretty weird about it. So it does take time to build that community, and you just have to be patient. At least that's what, for me, that's how it's been for me. Yeah, you just have to like slowly but surely be hanging out with people. It's really hard as we all get older too, because we're all busy. Like, there's only so many days in a week, there's only so many hours in a day. Like, we're all freaking busy. And so yeah, you're kind of going up against that too, like how often you can hang out with people, what your schedules look like. We're currently maxing out our schedule with hangs, but I do that now purposefully because it's just like something that energizes me to an extent. So I love it when there's like multiple things. Like this past week, or last week was Sid's birthday, and literally a year ago we were shooting a music video. We did it on her birthday because we rented a limo and we shot in it. And a year ago, almost to the day, we were like sitting there having a conversation like, oh my God, like, are we even going to have enough people to invite into this limo? Like, it was like doing that was a little bit of a reminder of, wow, we really don't have like a solid group of people to just be like, oh, so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so are coming. It ended up being fine and great. But then fast forward a year and we're like, oh my God, this is so sweet. Like, we ended up going to Lipstick Lounge again, and like a bunch of people came and it was so fun, and everyone karaoke'd. I didn't karaoke. I don't do that because I can't sing. So, and everyone around me can. But yeah, it was just like this really heartwarming feeling to just look around and be like, literally this time last year, we felt like we didn't have a solid group, and now here we are a year later, and it's like, oh, it just is so good. It's so sweet. I love it. Yeah, I don't know if this is relatable at all. I just honestly wanted to talk about it too for my own selfish sake, because doing these little videos is very therapeutic for me, like I said, but it also creates a little bit of a time capsule for myself to look back on. So, given that I've been feeling very fulfilled in the friendship category and like getting comfortable and like figuring out what works and how to create community, I don't know, this almost acts as a little like timestamp of, wow, this is the time period when you were finally starting to figure out how to create a community. Oh, which just reminds me, kickball. I mentioned that a second ago and I said I was going to come back. I'm coming back. Y'all, I don't know if you're watching this and you're in Nashville. I'm pretty sure it's grown outside of Nashville and it's in other major cities, but hot mess kickball, and there's other sports too. Get a freaking team together. It is so fun. You don't have to be good. We, in fact, were so bad and probably will be so bad, but we did get better. I will give us that. We will get better, but we got a team of musicians, y'all, and they're learning every day how to play kickball. Sid and I wanted to make a team because we've always heard how fun the league is, and I played sports growing up, so obviously I was like, yes, let's play. And I actually used to play with my ex-husband too, but I obviously got booted off of that team. Anyways, back to gay kickball. We knew we wanted to create a team, and then we had a friend that also knew that she had people that wanted to play. So we were like, okay, great. Like, we'll find some people, you'll find people, and we'll just like put together a team. No one's really gonna know each other that well, but it'll be fun. And so from that, me and Sid being like in the thick of our like wanting to create community and meet new people, we were like, okay, we have people that we're like meeting and that we don't know very well, that we want to get to know better. Like, why don't we just invite people that we don't know that well so that we can use kickball as a way to get to know them better? And guys, it worked, y'all. It worked. We had so much fun. We lost a lot of games and we did not place very high. But damn, we had some fun. No, legitimately, we all like injured ourselves, or half of the team injured themselves, but that shit is so fun. I don't know what else to say aside from making friends is hard. It's very isolating to feel like you don't have friends. I've been there a large portion of my life and getting better. But queer community is fucking incredible, and it's the best community to like get into if you have no friends, because it's one of the most welcoming communities. Obviously, I feel like that is you know, that's a known thing about this community. But sometimes you just gotta put yourself out there. You gotta actually talk to people, as awkward as it is. We just made friends with a couple that moved to town recently, and we met at Lipstick, and we just started chatting, and fast forward a few weeks later and we're playing Uno with cards that are this big and we're going to QDP. Sometimes shit just works out. You know what I'm saying? And I do think that you also have to put yourself out there in a way of being like, hey, we should be friends. Hey, can we be friends? Or even just being honest and being like, hey, I'm like trying to create community right now, trying to get to know people. Like, do you want to grab a coffee? Do you want to grab food? Whatever. Making plans. Also, it's so easy to just sit back and wait for somebody else to make the plans and you just wait to be asked to come. It just don't always work like that. Sometimes you got to be like, hey, let's do this, and make the plan. Just know, as scatterbrained and all over the place as this video has been, just know you're not alone if you feel like you don't have a community. If you're looking for community, especially if you're here in Nashville, don't hesitate to reach out. There's some things that we have in the works that we are excited about, but it's going to take a little bit to like do them, but it involves community and I'm excited. Also, another thing, when me and Sid were like, we have no friends, last October we were like, okay, every single Thursday, let's go to Honey Tree. And that way, if we ever do try to make plans, we can just tell people, oh, hey, are you free Thursday? Come to Honey Tree. And so we go. Like, we've only missed a few times because we were out of town. And we just go sit up there. Sometimes it's just me and Sid. A lot of times it's just me and Sid, and that's totally fine. And then other times, other people come. And we just chat it up. And it really is just a lovely time. My goal with that is that, like, it's not something we promote right now. Like, we'll post when we're there, be like, it's Thursday, we're at Honey Tree, and we tell people that we go there every Thursday and for them to join us if they want. But I hope that it can eventually just become, like, I would love to promote it in a way that's like, hey, if you're queer and looking for community, every Thursday, come anytime. Like, sometimes we get there at 5, sometimes we get there at 8, but someone's there. So the goal would be that there's just, like, someone there all the time for people to hang out with. That's that, really. Not much more to say except for, if you're looking for community and you're in Nashville, come to Honey Tree on Thursdays, because we'll be there. Sometimes we play Farkle. If you've never Farkled, then you probably should. I think that's kind of it. Just do the awkward thing of finding events in your city with things that you're interested in and just show up. If it's a queer community and you show up alone, it's very likely that someone there will bring you in. That's what I'm going to end with. This thought is that in this past year or so, as Sid and I have been trying to, put ourselves out there, go to people's music events, like, show up for things that people are promoting online or whatever. Like, that's a big thing for me, is like, I try to show up to as many queer artists, local shows as possible, because I know how it feels to just be, like, pursuing something and feeling like no one cares. Like, I would love to be, like, a body in the room that confirms to people that, like, what they're doing is seen and heard and they're cared about. So in doing that, you really do just learn that, like, there are people out there that are, like, no new friends vibes. I feel like I wasn't really expecting that at this age and in this community, but, like, sometimes it is, and that's okay. And I think if you put yourself out there and you don't feel the the favor returned or whatever, then, pivot. And, like, that's not everyone. That might be some people. But I just know I think I can speak for Sid when saying this too, is like we want to be friends that are known for, like, bringing people in and, like, wanting, like, people to be a part and join and, like, hang and feel like that someone's wanted, that their presence is wanted. Hi, Blank. I want your presence all the time, girl. But yeah, so that's, I think, big for me, is just wanting to come across as someone who wants people to be a part of things and not like not too cool, but, like, I don't know. I just want to know so many people, I want to be able to walk into a gay event and, like, know most of the people there. That's so cool to me. And I feel like I've gotten to the point, as far as acquaintance-wise goes, like, to be able to go to Lipstick and, like, know someone there. I love that. I would like to know people better, but it's hard. And I still get pretty, like, shy, depending on the environment. That's probably all over the place, but we're just getting started in these little, I've just been calling them my little chatty videos. I have some other ideas in the works for non-chatty videos, but those take a lot more planning and stuff, and I just don't have the time for that right now. So I'm filling this cup by making these. And my last few have gotten, like, pretty cool responses and actual views, which is honestly unexpected. So if you've watched, thank you. If you've commented, double thank you. And just know that this community, come on in. Just come on in. In all seriousness, though, I feel like I should stop now. Friends are hard. Queer community rules. You'll get there. If you're struggling to create community, send me a message. You got community in me, baby. I'm being serious though. Okay, bye. Oh, I'll probably see you next week. I'm on a roll. 3 in a row? No way.